What is up, everybody? You are watching Three Men in the Basement, the Sunday special.
There's nothing wrong with your television set. Do not attempt to adjust the picture. We are controlling transmission. We will control the horizontal. We will control the vertical. We can change the focus to a soft blur or sharpen it to crystal clarity. For the next hour, sit quietly and we will control all that you see and hear. You are about to participate in a great adventure. You are about to experience the awe and mystery which reaches from the inner mind to the outer limits.
What is up, everybody? Sunday, fun day. I was thinking about it. I go, the Three Men in the Basement been having a great weekend. It's a lousy day here up in the Northeast, above and beyond everything. And I was watching a great video today by one of my guests on the show right now, Mr. Erod212. Say what's up, everybody.
What's going on, everybody? How's everything going?
So, Erod, you did a banger video. You did your 53 favorite slabs, right? Yeah, and I was watching it today, and I'm like, man, this is good stuff. So let me reach out to E. Let me reach out to some of the guys at the NY Warriors and see if they wanted to go live. And E answered the call, and we're waiting on Manny. So we were already chopping it up for like 15 minutes. So, but we got to talk about this some more, man.
Yeah,
I know we got a lot of things to talk about because we're kind of always into the comic book business, but this COVID-19, it's unprecedented. And E, what do you find yourself doing more? Are you more like looking around for books? Are you more like all over the place? Or, obviously you're staying safe, you take care of your family. We know all that.
Yeah,
we have to do all that.
Like we were talking before, I actually, I'm a first responder, so I do have to go to work every day. But, we're taking all the precautions that we need to. But I'm hitting different venues. And my man, the Butcher's on the chat right now. And he hit me up the other day and gave me some good info. And I've been actually looking at auctions. So like Comic Link and Heritage.
Yeah, okay.
And I found a banger book on there. And I got a really good deal. And I hit him up with a shout out to the Butcher 105 for giving me that good information.
Yeah. So you want to talk about that book a little bit? Or
it's a book that I've been specking on a little bit, and it's just my theory on it. So don't take it for anything. No, but I spoke to you about it. I think it's pretty good logic.
It is pretty good logic. Now, I just want to say, I just want to give a little prelude to what this book is. It's an FF key, right? It's a single digit FF book, right?
Yes.
And of all the FF books from like 1 to 12 or something like that, to me, it is definitely the most undervalued, and you should be buying this book right now. You know what I mean? So, E, what book is that, man? Because I think
it's Fantastic Four #8, first appearance of the Puppet Master.
Yep.
And I've discussed this with the New York Warriors, and we always chop it up the same way you guys do. And here's my theory behind this book. So everybody knows that the Puppet Master is the stepfather of Alicia Masters. Masters, Ben Grimm's girlfriend, eventually becomes his wife. If by chance the MCU ever decides to introduce Alicia Masters, what better way to introduce her than by introducing her stepfather as an evil villain?
Yeah.
Right. It's very feasible. It's still an affordable key. So I bought a copy at Chicago at C2E2
for the first time. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Then once the Butcher and I were talking about it, I went on and I actually pulled up that book, and I got it for below GPA,
right?
With the shipping, which was good. Also, the other key that there's another one there. There's a couple of keys there. Number 11 is the Impossible Man.
Yes, the Impossible Man.
And also, is it 10 but the Red Ghost is another character that.
Yeah, that's the same appearance as the Watcher, right?
Yeah, the Watcher, right? Yeah. So those are books that are still affordable if you can, believe that.
Yeah, well, you've got to find them. And somebody said they thought it was First Namor. First Namor is becoming harder and harder to find anywhere. Like Tom, when you were this is funny because between your boys and my boys at our comic swap and then C2E2, those have really kind of been, and one or two small shows, there really hasn't been any big shows right now. I mean, nobody's together, man. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I went to the last small show was I got home from Yankee Spring Training, which I went to this year. I just made it in, and the next day there was a small show that your Jersey guys go to.
Yeah,
it's the Clifton show.
Yeah,
and I went to the last Clifton show, and who would think?
Right, that would be the last time you go to something, and then. We have been talking about, I think this week was ZapCon. Am I right?
What's supposed to be, yeah.
It's supposed to be. Now, you're a big fan of Zap, right? Because we are too.
Huge.
Yeah. And then you always hit them.
They were good.
They are good. They are. I bought some of my
Great
keys.
prices, and they do the right thing, man. They're just good guys.
They nail the books that I buy from them raw at the price. Like I'm like, you know that and I think we all agree with this in comic book investing. You know what a book should be around.
Yep.
What do you think it is? What do you think you could get out of a good press or a bump or something like that? You know what I mean? So, but when I buy my stuff from Zapp's, I pay raw exactly what I think it's going to come back at graded. You know what I mean? Within a half a point, they are that good. You know
what they're also fair with. So if you ever go to a lot of these 50% sales,
yeah, I've never been, but these guys,
a lot of people when they do a 50% sale, they jack up the book a little bit so that they're making more.
Yep.
Zapp is on the money. It might be 5% more, but they're fantastic with their 50% sale. Actually, Gary and I were hanging out on the line this year,
right?
Just shooting it, and he was like, "Is it worth it?" When he went inside, he didn't realize. He was like, "Oh man, it was worth it." But the war books for such a small store,
yeah, right,
incredible. You know?
And are they just pulling them down? Like,
you first come, first serve. I literally walk in and go, "Give me that," and
all right. And all right, what time did you get there, E? Because I think
I'm not going to reveal the time, but I'm one of the first people this year.
You are. All right, it's still dark out, right? It's like,
oh no, it's. I'm getting there usually about 2:00 in the morning.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
But I get it, man.
I also buy $600 to $700 worth of books there.
Correct. Oh, I would do the same thing
at 50%.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I didn't realize it. They had raw Star Wars figures there, and I passed right by them. Original ones, the original 16s, but they had them raw there. Out of packages. They also have graphic novels and pops and everything. It's a great show. Great set.
Yeah, no, it is. So that's why we thought, when ZappCon would say, so what is Zapp? Who is Zapp? It's a store online, brick and mortar. All right. So thank you, James, for that's a great question to ask. So we're up here loaded in the Northeast. I'm in Connecticut. E-Rod's out of Staten Island, right, E? Yep. And so Zapp is this store that we go to. I go to the one in Wayne, New Jersey.
And when I go to.
Yeah, that's the one I go to. And I got turned on to it almost 4 or 5 years ago when I got back into comic book collecting. And I've been every time for me, it's about a 3.5, 2 hour trip on the way back from a family vacation. But I often like to hit it up as much as I possibly can because they have great wall books. They have fair prices. Their stuff is glowing in the Mylar, and they have a ZappCon and they have a big annual sale, which is what you waited in line for, right?
Yes, so they do 2 sales. They do that pre-Thanksgiving week sale, the Black Friday sale. They do it the week before, and then they do free comic book day in May. Which probably won't go off this year.
Yeah,
but they have that one.
Yeah, free comic book day is kaput, man. Free comic book day is kaput. You're looking at it like when we had this past Friday night, just to talk about that, we had Mitch Halleck, the producer of Terrificon, on, and we talked as if by August our world should be back to normal, right? You got to hope, right? And they kicked back. Emerald City to August also, and I know they canceled. There was another show that Gary does.
East Coast.
East Coast, of course, East Coast, which I was going to go to this year for the first time.
Such a great show.
Yeah, but you went to, so you technically went to. Oh, here's Manny. All right, here we go. What's up, my boy?
Yo, I'm here.
You're here in the grotto, man. You're chilling in the grotto with us. That's great.
Yeah.
So Manny, we were just talking about the real 2 things that only for the smaller shows. We had the comic book swap and we had the C2E2, and I was just gonna have E tell us what he thought about C2E2. I'm sure you talked about it, but like for me, is it Baltimore? Like Baltimore's it like for you?
No, it's like New York Comic Con.
Yeah,
but smaller.
Okay.
It's run by the same people that run New York Read Pop.
Right.
So I kind of, if you walked in, Manny will know what New York Comic Con's like. It's the same setup with the sections 100, 200, 300, 400. It was the same setup. The only thing is, Manny and I go to New York so much, and we're there all 4 days. We grind. We know every booth in there pretty much. Once we get that map, we're
really.
Justin's probably the same way because I've seen him at New York, and you get to know that area. So C2E2 was set up like that.
Okay. All right. And then
the hospitality was great over there, bro.
Was it?
The community guys.
Right. Okay. Now, did you go Thursday, Friday, Saturday? What did you?
Thursday. I just went. It's no Thursday on there. It's just Friday, Saturday.
Thursday. Okay.
So I flew in. I landed Thursday.
Yep.
Got to my hotel, checked in. Myself and my son went and met up with Chad RCG.
Yep.
And they did a drinking and drawing type of thing benefit for the Heroes Initiative.
Nice.
You paid $25 for a coaster and they had like Larry, what you call it, not Larry Hama. I'm trying to think of the artist, but some Spider-Man artists were
Okay,
there.
right.
Just a bunch of good artists.
Scott Hanna.
Scott
Scott
Hanna.
Hanna?
Thank you, Scott Hanna.
There you go.
Scott Hanna was there. There were quite a few artists that were recognizable guys drawing on coasters for you, and you just went out drunk.
Oh, that's really cool. That's really cool. Now, when you guys roll up to New York City, do you guys go all 4 days straight? Manny, you go all 4 days?
All 4 days.
You guys are hardcore. I don't know if I can handle that many people, bro. See, I'm from the burbs. You guys are from the city. You know what I mean? Like,
Otto, you know how hardcore we are? We're in the first pen.
Really?
As soon as that thing is open.
Oh my God, it's unbelievable! Like
I
every year, I
get in a little bit before they do.
Yeah, I know. You got this. You got the back door, right? The wise guys go through the back door.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So the phone is going off nonstop when we were there. You know, the text messages are just flowing.
Everything just keeps going. Now, the first day that you go to, when you go to New York, what are you guys going after? The exclusives, man? Are you going after the exclusives? What are you going to go after?
Yeah. Well, this year I didn't I took my wife and my son, the baby, this week. This year, last year. So it's kind of like I didn't really get to like really do anything that day. So it's just, like a family day, which I should have probably just told them to come Sunday. It probably would have been better. But it just worked out because Sunday was the bigger day for us because we got but normally on Thursday we hit whatever we got to hit.
Yep.
And then we go get our autographs and stuff.
Right.
But,
all right. And then do you guys
just like that?
Yeah. E, do you go to look to make the deals back on Sunday if it's still there? Like, is there like
usually Saturday and Sunday are my chill days. So I kind of got to know a couple of the vendors there.
Yep.
So I don't even wait for Sunday. That's usually my Thursday. Later on, I'll hit them to get the bigger books that I want because I'm willing to pay the price. Because if not, those books are gone. Like I bought a special Marvel edition off of Very Gary.
Yeah.
And I picked up I did a good trade this year, and
I
traded and I got an FF Annual 6, an FF 45, and ASM 129, and I traded that for an ASM 15, I believe it was.
Ooh, okay, there you go.
But it was a good deal. And that's the thing we've learned to do there, right, Manny? We barter with the guys. We bring books and we trade books for books that we want.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I do. That's what we do all the time.
I mean, it's you got to, because it's what we're talking about, and I was talking about this with. So you got to get your equity. You know what I mean? You've got stuff that has value.
Have you been to New York, Otto?
No, I haven't. You know what it is, man? New York is close to Terrificon for me.
Yeah.
And what happens is because of where it falls and my job as an educator, like I can't take time off to go on a Thursday or Friday.
Yeah.
And I think if I went to New York Terrificon for the first time on a Saturday, I'd lose my mind, man. I don't know.
It's crazy. Saturday's the busiest day.
Yeah, exactly.
Thursday this year was busy too.
It was
really
the busiest we saw, right, Manny? They brought back the 4-day badges, but you know what the madness was this year?
What's the 4-day badge cost? You guys any?
100.
Oh, that shit was like 200 and
almost
something.
$200.
Okay, right. Jeez. Yep. Wow.
They used to be the 4-day badges used to be under $100.
Yeah.
Okay.
Before they took them off.
Yeah.
Used to be under 100.
And they wouldn't sell Thursday. The 4-day was part of the Thursday. That's the only way to get into Thursday. So everybody was doing it, but now everybody wants the exclusives. So everybody shoots for that 4-day. They sell Thursday badges single also. So now
do you really? Yeah.
But Tom McFarlane was the big issue this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That Spider-Man 300, the gold and the
oh my God,
silver.
McFarlane's made so much money. He's unbelievable.
So Manny and I were trying to. I got in. Manny wasn't with you were with your family that day, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I got in as soon as it opened, and I was maybe 50 people in line, but all the dealers were already online for the gold. So
Correct.
that day,
all
the gold was sold. Remember, there were only, I think, 200 gold being sold. So they sold all the gold on Thursday, and the silver, you would have thought there were 1,500 of them, that they would limit them. They didn't. They sold out the silver in one day. I was able to buy, I think, 15 copies and take care of all my friends.
Right.
But they didn't hold it back. So I watched dealers buy 30 and 40 copies of the silver.
Of course, right. Just
but then it got so crazy Thursday and Friday that people couldn't get their books that Saturday they refused to sell the gold. And McFarlane got involved.
Okay.
And you had to be the first 100 people, Manny, was it? Or how many was it? 60 or 100?
It was... Jeez, I can't even remember.
I think it was 100 because Mike was low, a higher number, and he was behind us.
Yeah.
Set up a special,
yes, he was like, I think it was first 100. He was like 70 something.
Location, Otto, and the first 100 people that got there, got a ticketed number, and they were going to get the gold foil.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Wow.
We were standing waiting in an area that wasn't the location, and we realized we fucking found it. We shot there. Manny and I got online with a couple of our friends. Greg was
Security
with us.
is telling us stop running. And we're like,
You're like little kids running through the mall, right? Like,
it's like run through the mall. Yeah.
yeah, no. Hey, you could do the same thing because you wait all year for this, and you don't want to miss your opportunity for things like that.
It got better because we got online and we get up to the front. We're getting close to the front, and they're just selling you that Dorbs and the book.
Right.
And about 50 people in, we were about 65, about 50 people in, McFarlane walked down and sat down on the table and started signing for everybody.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
So like the first 50 didn't get their shit signed.
No, jeez. Well,
and
when
we went to because PSA DNA is always there every year at New York City Comic Con. So anything you can't get authentic, like say if you have like a print and it gets signed, or you get like a little remark on it, you go to PSA DNA, get the sticker, pop, that's it, $10. Anybody that's at the con is always $10.
Really? This is something I want to talk about because I know you two, I'm sure you two were the ones that made this happen. So, E, when I was watching your video, you had one of your X-Men books, like a 136 or 137, right? Yeah. Signed by Byrne.
Manny made that happen.
All right. But that is Byrne still doing this? Like, that's crazy.
No, this was the year.
Good, man.
Yeah, I'm sorry. He's signing. Yeah, he does sign at cons, but he doesn't allow you to get them graded. So,
right.
What was it? 2 years ago was the time that me and E-Rod went, and I'm like, yo, John Byrne's gonna sign. Yo, let's go get on the line. Yeah. I think I was like almost like maybe 10 or I can't remember. I probably was the fifth or the 10th person in line, and E-Rod tries to go to nah, man, you coming right here, man. Let's go. Every time I always get on the lines, any of the guys are there. Come on, let's go. I don't care if they look at me. I don't care whatever. What they gonna do? If you got Jeff next to you, he's like 10'10",
Yeah,
nobody gonna say that to
you. What are you gonna do? You're waiting in the line too, So
yeah, so I'm like, whatever. So they come and he's just signing one thing, anything Marvel or DC, one thing. Whatever you want.
Okay.
3 pieces, but just one thing. It had to be Marvel or DC. Yeah. And you had to buy
the Star Trek IDW books.
Some Star Trek book, some IDW.
Okay, he's a huge Star Trek fan. Yeah.
Well, it was the 100th. Yeah. It was the 100th birthday for Jack Kirby, so they were doing a special panel, and they had him and Simonson talking, and it was wristbanded. This event was wristbanded to only 100 people.
Yep.
Wow, that's unbelievable.
Yeah, it was crazy, man.
So no, what I was going to say is, so of all the people that I've met, I was very fortunate when I was a kid to meet Dave Cockrum. John Byrne to me is like the Mount Rushmore. You go Stan Lee, Steve Ditko, and then John Byrne, because that's what I grew up to. And to hear that he's such an pain in the ass when it comes to signatures and everything, it just kills me, man, because so many of his images of stuff that he wrote, whether it was the X-Men, Alpha Flight, Fantastic Four, is like ingrained in my head, and the guy is just like not nice to us. So what's wrong with you, man? If it wasn't
I don't think he's a nice man. He's grumpy dude. So you couldn't get any paint pens change of color. So we all know Chris Claremont likes to sign on the X-Men logo, right?
Correct. Right.
So I had the X-Men logo. I window board all my books.
Yep.
The X-Men logo cut out, and I was going to get Claremont to sign there, and I had another spot for him. I brought it to him, and he goes to sign on there. And I go, would you mind signing on the bottom? He goes, Claremont likes to sign there. And he said, tell Claremont, I said, go fuck himself.
Get out of here.
Remember, Manny? The whole place was like, holy shit.
Yeah, man.
He's a real...
He's crotchety, man. He's a crotchety.
He's kind of lucky. I was just so stunned that I was getting a freaking John Byrne autograph on one of my books. It was getting graded. He didn't want CGC there, but he didn't know about CBCS.
And we were witnessing.
And it wasn't that it wasn't allowed for you to witness it, because I'm a self-witness. So it was allowed for you to get his autograph at that time. But after that event, that 100-year of Kirby's special day that he was there, he said no CGC, no CBCS, no this, no that. I was like, okay, whatever,
All right.
So that's why.
But that was like the real piece, that's that one from the childhood that you always want to get.
Oh yeah,
See
man.
in person,
No,
bro.
when I was like I said, I was listening to the show this morning, and I was like, God damn! And I missed out. I've got a bunch of stuff signed by Perez. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Perez is
Mhm.
George is one of my favorite artists, Teen Titans 2 and all that stuff. And I met George a bunch of times before he got sick, so I was happy about that. But like a guy like Byrne, if he goes, I've never met him, man, and I'm just gonna be like, you know, I mean, I met Stan once,
Yeah,
so
so did I did stand twice. But Trimpy,
yeah.
that happened to me with Trimpy.
Trippy, I missed out on Trippy. I left, and then he didn't come back the next day because he was sick.
Also, I was at the same show, and Trimpy was coming.
Was it Rhode
And-
Island?
No, he was in New York when he died.
Okay, right. But
So
he
It was
left.
2 weeks before. Well,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Erod. He
Yeah,
made, because I got Trimpy. I got one Trimpy autograph. At that time, I was buying books, but I wasn't like, I couldn't like, I don't know. I wasn't like grabbing like the key books.
Right.
So at that time, I had a GI Joe #1, but I was like so into like that 9.8 phase, 9.6, and I couldn't find one on time when I got
Right.
there. So I said, you know what, fuck it, whatever, it's all right. So I had this Hulk trim. It was a high grade. It was a Silver Age Hulk. I think it was like 116 or something.
Yep.
So I said, you know what, I get that sign. So I got that sign. I got one autograph from him, and then he was there at Big Apple Con, and then I think it was like 2 weeks later, he showed up in East Coast. So I was like, nah, I'll get him next year.
Right.
I said, I'll get him next year.
Yep.
That Monday that was it, man. He passed away.
Same thing happened to me, and that was the same thing. And I just kicked myself in the head after that. You know?
Right.
The same thing happened with me with. I'm sorry. The same thing happened with me with Darwin Cook too.
Really?
I was at Baltimore one year. I went to Baltimore. At one point, I went to Baltimore 3 years straight because I loved that concert. Me and my wife would just
I
drive
went for
down.
the first time this year, man. I loved it.
And I was like, you know, Darwin Cook's here. I was like, maybe I could get that He-Man one signed. You know, that He-Man book that he did.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? I'll wait till next year. I'll get him next year. Next thing you know, passed away. I was like, damn.
Gone.
One of your panel members, James Nichols is asking about what's the process. So you want to go over that also, Otto, for getting a witness and slab, but Manny that's been a witness.
Yeah, Manny's been a witness. I'll let him talk on that. I know, CGC, I don't work for CGC or I represent CGC in any way whatsoever. But typically when we go to cons, well, like Justin's very good at this. Justin's meticulous, and Justin is into the all the newer artists, and I get it, and he knows the way it works, and that's why him and Dave in the Cave are just such good assets to me. But when we go, you kind of have the plan of where do you want to get signed and what's going to take the longest. Like sometimes, like at Terrific Con, Chris Claremont had a specific times where you drop off books with him. I think Clayton Crane did the same thing. But like books that you want to get multi-signed, you're grabbing that witness like, Manny, and you're saying, come with me to these 4 artists and let's get it all signed. And then that's at least the short version of it, right?
Yeah, that's the new procedure. I didn't like it at first, but it's actually streamlined it a lot better. Getting that
it
number,
has,
getting that number and not having to wait and walk around the con before you submit your books. I like it,
Right. And then Manny, if somebody wanted to like facilitate with you guys, what is it? Is it just same thing? You grab you or somebody?
Yeah, I mean, he'll hit me up, send me an email. He's like, oh, if I'm at the con, he'll go to the table. I'm there. I mean, I might not be working the con, but I could just witness, right?
Okay, gotcha.
And if somebody wanted to do CBCS, they could just come with me, and I'd be like, oh, I witnessed his signature. And then when the paperwork comes, I just put my name. Because sometimes I work their shows.
Yeah, right.
And, and I'm not going to say always, but the majority, anytime I sign that paper to get some witness, I could do it.
Right,
so it's not like a big deal.
Yeah,
because I work the show, so I'm, they're not gonna deny me.
I know. So I've got
it's easy. It's not that hard,
Yeah,
listen, let me tell you something. Listen, I do CBC and I do CBCS. Okay, so if you do CBCS, that one year the CGC was at East Coast Comic Con.
Yeah,
you couldn't grab a CGC person because they line was off the chain. I mean, I'm talking about the line was like out the door just for somebody to witness for you. So when you go to CBCS booth, we'll go bang, 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 bang. I was grinding that day. I'm telling you, man. When I tell you I didn't sit down, this was when the Infinity movie came out, the Avengers Infinity War. When that movie came out, and and Jim Starlin and all those guys,
all those guys.
So
Rubenstein.
Bro, I'm telling you, I didn't sit down until it was time to like go at the end of the day.
Right.
And I got there at 9 o'clock in the morning, got in the door, started right away. Bro, I didn't sit down till like 7.
Yeah. Well, it's good, man. You got to
6:30,
grind.
something like
You got to grind it. And it's important when you know who it is, or you know, like, you know, a lot of the witnesses and stuff like that, or the people that I deal with, they know certain procedures. You know, like you know, Claremont will only sign on a thing. But I got Chris actually to sign an X-Men book. I have X-Men number 95, which was when I was 95 or 96. Maura McTaggart with the yellow label.
Yeah.
The yellow cover. Which one
95.
was that? 95, yeah. And I met Dave Cockrum. He actually signed the interior page. And what I wanted to do is, now I wasn't getting this book CGC'd. It was part of my personal, it was, you know, part of my youth. It's not one of those books that I was really going to do this with. But I went and when I talked to Chris Claremont, I opened it up and I said, hey, can you tell me about Dave Cockrum? And he told me a few stories. And he actually signed right next to Dave Cockrum on the inside of the book for me, you know? So Cockrum's a talker, man. I didn't realize he likes to talk as much as he does.
Claremont?
You know? I'm sorry, Chris Claremont.
Yeah.
Claremont.
He's got a story for every book you have. It's pretty
really
interesting. You know, he'll tell you a little bit about everything there.
Yeah.
You gotta be careful though. He'll finger fuck the book too. So
yeah.
Oh, he'll kill. Yeah. Well, you know, Neil palmed the whole thing, you know. Neil.
So did you blue label? I mean, red label that with CBCS to get him authenticated or not?
No, I didn't. You know why? Because that book to me is part of that was like a first big book I ever bought in a collection that I, you know, found. You know, I read it 100 times over when I had when I had Cockrum sign it. I mean, so I mean, I physically had that book for so long, and it's nothing that I want with a label because I enjoy looking at the signature. It brings me back to when I was a kid and my mom dropped me off. Like, you guys would appreciate this. The comic shop that we used to go to back here was called The Bookie. So every Saturday, my mother would bring me to the Bookie. You know how that sounds with a bunch of women, you know?
Mom, take me to the Bookie.
Yeah, take me to the Bookie. Are you kidding me? You know?
So your numbers while you're there, right?
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. They probably did run it out of there, to be honest with you. But now are you guys, you know, hitting up the LCSs? Now the Diamond's done, but I mean, how are you going? I mean, what are you guys doing to get those
my
new
LCS
books?
is they're shipping books to you. Whatever you have whatever you have in your pull list. And last week was the last week Diamond's not doing anymore.
Correct.
So whatever you have in your pull, I mean, if you want, you call them every week. You tell them, oh, whatever I have in my box, just send me, you know.
Gotcha.
I just tell them, send me $30, $20 worth of books.
Yeah.
And then the shipping.
Right. So one of my LCS is doing like wish lists, like tell us what books you're going after and what you're looking to spend, and they're putting that together, you know, or they're just going to try to start moving like current back issues. I don't know. E, what about you, buddy?
I'm really not buying much. All I'm buying right now is the current X-Men run.
Okay,
so
right.
They mailed that to me because I use Jim Hanley's. That's the closest one to me. But what I've been doing, and I gotta be honest, is I've been buying some keys on these auctions because everybody's putting up in. I don't know if you've been watching the auctions. I mean, we were on an auction the other day, and they sold 3 copies of Silver Surfer #4.
Really?
A 7.5, a 5.0. They were just selling. I mean, big books are coming up on there.
Right. So do you guys, now this is something else too, very important. For comic book collectors and like the economy and stuff, like, are you swooping in and getting what you can, or, you know, I mean,
I'm waiting, and I've been hitting eBay also, and there's been some deals on eBay if you look enough.
Okay.
But I'm trying to buy low.
Right. You're trying to buy low, right?
You know?
So yeah, right. So are you looking at one book on 3 different sites right now? I mean, you must,
I follow
eBay, Link, or
I follow eBay, I follow Comic Link, I use Mercari.
Yeah, okay.
There every once in a while and just pull up books.
Yeah, interesting.
Or just buy books off of each other. That's it.
And that's the other thing, though, because guys, so this is the way I sell my books, and you guys will probably do the same thing. If eBay is going to charge you 10%, right? PayPal is charging you 3%, so that's 13%. If I can pass that deal on to somebody else, they can get that book at a reduced price, and I still make that same amount of money. It's a win-win for the community. It's a win-win for me. It's a win-win for the buyer.
Of course.
You know, and that's the way you do it.
Yeah, I was doing a little shopping too on Facebook yesterday. There was some auctions on, and I picked up some nice late golden, well, not golden age, but after, you know, like 50 some detectives. So I picked up a couple of them. And what else? I picked up some decent stuff, man. I mean, the prices was right, so I said, you know what? Now snatch that up, man.
I know. Well, that's right. The prices are right, and with the
because I'm sorry, Otto. These stores they selling their stores are shut down, so they're going on Facebook and they're selling. They pushing material. They push inventory out.
I see so many people live on Instagram now, like really. Yeah. People I haven't really been on for a while and doing that, and then the auctions. And I don't really pay much attention to the auctions, but there are deals to be had. Obviously, you guys got the best ones going. Did you switch to Fridays, or is it still on Tuesdays?
Oh, we're still Tuesdays.
Still Tuesdays. Okay.
That RTG's been selling on Friday a lot. Every once in a while, we'll throw a Friday one. But
right.
So let me show you something here. Hold on a second.
Man, you find that Popeye book yet?
Nah, that book is that. I'm probably won't find that shit for like 20 years from now.
That's unbelievable. I love that story about that. Maybe we can talk about that. Oh. Ooh, all right.
That's the reprints, right?
Yeah.
But it's probably a 9.0 to 9.2 copy. eBay. And then see if I got them here. These are some FF bronze, all super high grade.
Okay.
9.2, 9.4s.
Yep.
That one, just beautiful covers, and then look, that one, Otto.
Yeah, of course. There you go, hot,
and that's a book I spec on also.
Yeah, that's many times you can find that book, and you're not going to spend a lot for that book. You know what I mean?
You can get it decent, but there's certain sales that if you're looking, and you'll find things.
Right. Well, that's it. Or you got to, I noticed people have been putting up books here and there, but. See, I made a big purchase a while ago, and I'm at the tail end of my payments for it.
Okay.
So I'm like, I can't be out, trying to hustle and wheel a deal when I just want to pay this one book off. So, I should actually have that book in a week or so. But I know at when we had the 3 Men in the Basement comic swap, you bought some fat stuff off of Geeky Swag Shop, right, Manny? You got a big statue.
Yeah, I bought a statue. Yeah, I put that on a payment plan, so it was so I'm down to my last payment plan.
Right.
Bucks,
so me and you were close.
Yeah, and then I got another layaway at my LCS for a Masters of the Universe. It's a Skeletor cover, and it's like a hard, rare fucking cover. It's expensive.
Yeah.
So I got that. I'm waiting just to take out whatever I have in my box in my LCS, whatever pulls I have. Yeah. Take that out, and then I'll start making payments again. Because I'm
right. Yeah. Well,
I could get it now, but
Yeah, it's one of those things. But I think what's really cool about this is I can tell you that the people that I deal with, and which is very important in the community that we all deal with because we all know each other, is that you can usually get somebody to say, hey, listen, can you give me 2 months to pay it off or something like that? And I haven't had anybody, we've negotiated terms, but I've never had anybody in the community be like, no, that's not good enough. I'm not doing that. Or more importantly, get burned by somebody because, there's been a few guys along the way. I'm not going to drop names and I don't even really know who they are because I never dealt with them, but have burned people 6 ways from Sunday. But I think in the group that we have between the Lords of the Long Box, NY Warriors, 3 Men in the Basement, we're getting books from all over the place. And they know that who we're telling it, who you got it from or whatever, so I think that's very important when you talk about comics right now, so.
Yeah, we all trust each other, E-Rod, I send him books. You're like, okay, don't worry about it. I'll take care of it later.
Yep.
Take care of it 2 weeks later. All right, don't worry, whatever. Bigs, everybody, we all
everybody knows, man.
We all know each other. I'll even do the same for you.
Of course. You know what? And I know it. And I, of course, we're only so far from each other. Let me see. Wobble's got a question right here. It says, do you guys think trading a key for a key, regardless of value, is a bad thing? For example, if I'm going to trade a 4.0 ASM 50 for a 3.0 Batman 181, just due to Ivy being my female characters. Oh, I don't. That's definitely a trade. Let me see. I'll keep it up there. That's definitely a trade that I think is fair, as far as what you're looking to do. But listen, favorite characters have something special in your heart, right? People go after favorite characters, So if Ivy's one of your female characters, and you're not, and you think the ASM 50 is just, there's lots of ASM 50s around. You can go after the book that you want, and I would say that's about the correct dollar value. What do you guys think?
I would do that deal.
The 4.0 is probably a $200+ book because I was just looking. There was one on the raffle the other day.
Yeah.
And then that Ivy, there's about the same thing. But
right.
Listen, if it's your favorite, if it's all about what you love.
Yeah.
If you have that same price range, more or less, and you're willing either $20 up or $20 down or whatever, and that's the book you want, go for what you want. Because it's all about what
Exactly,
you
right?
collect. Yeah.
Right. Absolutely. I agree. So
Everybody has different stuff, different likes.
yeah. And what so everybody does like their want lists and stuff like that. Like what books, like Manny, what books are you going after right now? If you could go scoff up right now, like what would you go after?
Right now, I'm kind of like not really going after any like big books.
Okay.
But I do have that G.I. Joe #1. What is it, #1, that McFarlane cover?
Yeah.
It's a CGC 98. I have that coming to me. I made a
that's
deal
good book.
with Comically Flawed Adam.
Okay.
So that should be coming to me next week. I'm going after like rare G.I. Joe books.
Yep, love it.
So I got that Muzzle Flash G.I. Joe book. I just got that, but I'm not really like looking whatever. I don't know. I'm just like, I'm not specific, man. I'm just like all over the place.
I love the and I didn't collect it, but the first comic, I'll be honest with you guys, that I ever remember calling a store about, like a newsstand, like this newsstand, was G.I. Joe #2, because I had #1. And in the 80s, G.I. Joe was like the coolest thing for me as a kid, with the toys and everything, and right up there with Transformers. But I remember actively calling this comics, it was a newsstand. It was like some old guy smoking a cigar, and I'd be calling, I'm like, do you still have G.I. Joe #2? Do you have it yet? Oh, it's it. Okay. And then I would like go have my father drag me to the place down the corner street, it was an old guy, just, man, here's your book, kid, and I'm like, oh my God. So G.I. Joe is a special place for me, and then, but what are you doing right now? You're just like, you're always looking for the deals, right?
And I'm looking for deals because I'm trying to buy a couple of big books this year.
Okay, good. All right.
So FF5 is a book on my radar.
Yeah.
I'm also looking for First Electro, ASM 9. I knocked off the annual this year, ASM.
I did. That's a big book.
That for me was a big book. It was a nice book to get. But
that book has eluded me. I had a few chances a few years ago, and I was like, as much as I love this and I'm a huge Ditko fan, you guys. I'm a Ditko purist, and I actually I'm sure I had 1 or 2 copies of this before as a kid. And I know I recently had a copy that didn't have a cover that I had a few years ago that I just read the hell out of. I don't even know where I got it. But I have watched that book climb and climb. Like every time I'm about to grab it, I don't do it, and it goes up more. And then next thing you know, and it's such a hot book. So where did you end up getting at? Chicago?
Chicago. Remember we were talking about it in Baltimore, and I couldn't find a good copy in Baltimore.
Neither could I. Well, we're looking at the same stuff.
So I went through all of C2E2 the first 2 days, and I couldn't find it. I found the dealer, but the price wasn't right. And,
was it dealer prices? Like
20% above the
that's
PPA. So I ran into Man from Beantown, and we were talking. He bought a big book up there. He bought this beautiful detective book, and we were talking about it. I was like, I'm kind of done. Walking, and we hit this aisle I hadn't really looked thoroughly in. And you ever see, like, sometimes you go to these big cons, but there's those small booths.
Correct. I've had good deals on those comics.
I hit those guys all the time because sometimes you find killer stuff. And this guy had an ASM annual #1 for the price I wanted. Right. So I jumped on it.
Nice. Now, do you clean that book up yet? Did you do your magic on it?
Dude, I have a box and a half of books that I have to work on.
Right. Now, what do you think that book will come back at?
Probably I'm hoping for that 4 or 5-ish to
4 or 5. That's the sweet spot for that book.
For me, that's perfect.
Right. And I know we were talking about DC keys and books that you're not seeing a lot, like the first Brainiac in a mid-grade, like you see a lot of like 2.0s, 2.5s.
The purple takes a beating.
The purple takes a beating. And that book, it's got to be 50-ish, 57, maybe 58 that book came out, and you don't, and Manny, I know you just know this too. The vendors, you're just not seeing these books a lot, right? These DC keys, man.
And if you do see them, they're expensive.
Yeah, right.
But the first Legion of Superheroes, I was saying this the other day, that's another one,
Yep.
That's another book that if you look at the price on that book, it is an expensive book.
It's expensive, man. And I, thought about that when I first started going after like my Legion of Doom characters, like first Captain Cold. Yeah. Like first Captain Cold, first Bizarro. Right. First Bizarro, the sweet spot for that book is like around a 5. I think I own it in a 3, 3.5. But I'm not gonna, I love the Legion of Doom and the Super Friends and stuff like that, and I love those villains. But those books are okay for me in those grades. You know what I mean? I know there's some books that you want in certain grades, but for these DC villains and keys, I mean, 3 to 5 is where I'm looking at for those books, man. Because if not, they're too hard to find and they're too expensive. So.
Oh, I'm sorry. A book that I was looking for was G.I. Joe 155. That's one book I'm going after.
Is that the last issue? What's the last issue?
That's the last issue. Yeah, that's another
find, man.
freaking expensive.
Yeah, they're all sitting around the coffin, right? Is that like all of them are out there? Yeah, I don't see that book.
Yeah, they're all out there with the flag. Yeah.
Yep. Good luck finding. Are you on eBay right now looking for that, Manny?
Right now I'm the highest bidder right now on eBay.
Really nice.
It's a nice copy. It looks like
all right.
I mean, from the picture, it looks like a 9.4-ish.
Okay.
What's that book run for now?
Shit. I mean, I have the bid at 78.
Okay.
78. Okay.
That's like that Star Wars, the last Star Wars issue. It's another one that's a low printed book, and
right.
The cover is atrocious, but it's
atrocious. It's so bad. You know what I mean?
The artwork is terrible, but it runs good money.
It runs its course, So
yeah, it's expensive.
Are you almost topped out on that book, or are you going to go a little higher?
I
know everybody has their window. You know what I mean?
I got like 1 day. I got like 1 day left. I don't want to pay $90 for it. I'll probably top it out at 85.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, because I'm not. And plus, I owe this guy money.
Yeah. Oh well. Yeah, that's right. Well, see, that's good though, and I think it's
money.
I think as collectors, though, you have to have an idea. Let me tell you this funny. This is a true story. When I first got it back into comics, and I was looking at books, and I was hitting up local comic shops. We were on I'm a big fan of going down through Jersey, and I went to Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash for the first time. Like
whack.
It is whack. It's a total tourist trap. It's not an LCS by any means. So now Kevin Smith will never come on my show, but it's true. But anyway, so we went there, and it was like a Thursday afternoon. Now we were going down to Atlantic City. My kids were a couple years younger, and they had a beautiful Hulk 181, right? Beautiful Hulk 181 raw, and he wanted like $500 for it. And this was about 6 to 8 months before the huge push on that book. And you guys know when that book was a couple years ago. And I was like, I can't do it. I can't spend $500 on a comic book. I'm about to take my kids on vacation. They can't get scones now. I can't get them Italian ice if I go and get them this. So I passed. And then I went and I was at the Borgata, and I put $100 in a slot, and I got lucky. Stroke of luck. I hit it for $500. I cashed that mother effer out, and I said, this is buying me that Hulk book, right? So I go have a great time in Atlantic City. I show up back at Jay and Silent Bob Stash on Sunday, and I think it was not Walt. One of the guys was still there, and I was like, where is it? And the guys are looking at me like, what are you talking about? I go, that Hulk 181. And they're like, oh, you were that other guy. And I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, you were the guy that passed on it because the guy right after you bought it. Oh my God.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, that sucked. Sucked like you would have believed, right? So then I'll tell you the rest of the story. So then I come home, and this is when we talk about being in that mode where like you go after a book and what your price is. I found a nice book on eBay, and I was up to like $600-700 on this. And I'm like, this is way beyond what I want to pay. They're like, my next bid was like $800. I literally took my phone and I threw it across the yard. Manny, I was just talking about how one time I got into a bidding craze about a Hulk 181. I literally took my phone and chucked it halfway through my yard because I knew it would be over and I couldn't do it. And then, so as eBay bidders and bidders like that, it's good to always have that number. But man, look at that. Look at that superstar right there.
There he goes.
Hi.
What's up? There you go. So keeping it in the family. There you go. So yeah, so I had to literally chuck that phone out, and kind of go from there. So but I do have a pretty cool book that I know you knew about this book, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I got a copy of that too.
This book is getting straight to DGC. This is going for like $4 right?
Is it that much?
I think it's up around 4,
Holy crap. I'm about to sell. Send me my book. I'm going to sell it. I don't need that to get that G.I. Joe one.
Yeah, there you go.
But
my God. Look at that.
No, they're not mine. I bought them for them at cost because, they're your friends.
Look at those. Show those again. That's your royal flush right there.
Yeah, that's
Oh
4.
my god, what numbers are they? E?
Let's
Mine's
see
like
right now.
17.
One.
Number 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah,
Yeah,
really. Could you
right.
imagine? Oh, I'd love one.
No, they're in the 1600s.
Okay, there you go.
1600s. All
Right.
of them.
Great book.
But,
Great book.
I was actually the first guy online for these.
Were you really?
Yeah,
Did you
just
get to
because-
talk to John Tyler Christopher?
No, he wasn't there when I went. To
Oh,
the
he wasn't
mobile.
there.
No.
He's a pretty interesting dude, man. He's very eclectic. He'll
Got the
tell you
weirdest-
that.
weirdest autograph I've ever seen in my life, man. You see?
Yeah. But he does 2 of them. Like on his Star Wars figures, he just does that like little like signature. This is a true story from what he told me. That Boba Fett cover, when he did the Boba Fett cover, he owns. Okay,
Yeah.
So that's his own variant. The story that he told me, and I'm not doing it justice, was he had to buy interest into a comic book store so that his name would be on a comic book store lease or something like that, so that he could do that variant in his name. Okay.
Right.
And he had to sell some of his comic books to buy interest in his comic book store to get his name on the comic book, So
Right. But you probably have to have a diamond account or something like that, so that Marvel will allow you to buy those variants, because you have to buy 3,000 of the trade dress and whatever it is of the variant, the Virgin, if you want.
Right, absolutely. So that was pretty interesting. We got your boy Joker M21 in the house. We got Man from Beantown. We got Gamma Comics. So yeah, man, I just wanted you guys to come on and hang out. I know we got some time left.
Appreciate it.
But yeah, no, I got some books that I'm sending off right now. I got to get this book's going off.
Nice. That's the book I want.
Spider-Man, right? I'm thinking, Manny, I'm thinking like this is like a 3.5, maybe 4. That's about where I paid for it.
Yeah, sure. You want to show me Spider-Man?
No,
that's
the life right there. I'm in my Spider-Man pajamas too. So
there you go. He's shooting his webs.
So, Manny, when it comes to some of the books that you go after, like, are you going after specific grades in it, or you're like, if I can get this book in like a 3, I'm good with it? Or E, I mean, did you guys do that when it comes to your collecting? Like,
absolutely, especially like some of the more pricey books. Listen, the Doctor Doom I want to get. I'm looking in that sweet spot is probably a 3.0.
Yeah, right.
My Green Goblin is the same way. It's a 3.5.
It's a 3.5, right?
Yeah.
Right, Spider-Man?
Spider-Man. Say Spider-Man?
Oh, you know what? He's got the best life ever because he doesn't know what's going on outside, right? He's just hanging around wearing his pajamas all day.
Yeah.
Dude, you got the best life right now, brother. Let me tell you something. Remember this.
Doing his web shooting.
Yeah. So, but for that, for like books in certain grades, man, you're paying a certain dollar amount, like for like a Green Goblin or for like an early Batman key or something like that.
Man,
so
I won so many books last year, like key books.
Yeah.
Like I mean, I flipped those already though, but like I won an Iron Man number 1. It was a 9.0.
What'd you get?
What was an Iron Man number 1? It was a 9.0.
Ooh my God, that's
and I won that for $10.
Oh.
I turned it around. I sold it to my
was what, an
8.5?
The one you won?
The what?
The Hulk 181?
Yeah, it was an 8.0.
8.0.
Did you really? Did he flip that? Man, did you flip that?
Yeah, I flipped that. I flipped it, but
know,
I got a 5.5. I got the whole set. I got the 180, 181, and 182. So
Yeah.
I kept the 181.
Right.
Then gave it to E-Rod. He pressed it. It came back a 5.0 or 5.5, I think, or 5.
Wow.
So,
I won like 4 raffles. Yeah. So I won a nice raffle, right? Yeah, I won a nice raffle.
Yeah, you won a nice book too.
That was a good book, right? And, man, it was so funny because something was jacked up with my phone or whatever. I'd been day drinking or something. And then I'm texting E. I'm like, did the raffle go off? He's like, yeah, you got to check it. Knowing I won already, So I'm like, I when I was texting him, he's like, yeah, you got to check it. You got to check it. And I won it. And man, I'll tell you, that book, I was ogling over that book today too, because I definitely think Miles is the character that's going to be around for the next 20 years. You know what I mean? Like,
I say it all the time.
Those books right now, and I know you were talking about it too, Spider-Gwen, Miles, anything Spider-Verse, you got to be snatching up at 9.6s and 9.8s, because I could see, you give me another movie or another live action, a first Spider-Gwen 9.8 could be going for $800, right? It could be going. I mean, it could hit the $800 mark.
That's gonna be for his generation.
Yeah, exactly. You're right. You're right.
They're gonna
Think
be
about
looking-
all these
they're
kids
gonna be
that are
going after
watching
those
Into the
books.
Spider-Verse. If they ever put that movie out and it's done
Yep.
right, you hear me preach it all the time. But First Miles, first
Yep.
Spider-Gwen, there's just a couple of those modern, and X-23 is another one that I just I'm high on that book.
Yeah.
If I can get those in 9.698s or Raws that look 9.698, I'll buy them all the time.
You'll buy them. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that was funny because that was something I was thinking about.
That variant is insane. You know, a 9.8 on that book is over $2,600 now.
Is it really?
So let's rewind maybe 3 to 4 years ago. And Mark Angel was buying. He was doing videos. If you go back to his videos, and Five Below had those in the grab bags.
Oh my gosh!
And he pulled 4 or 5 of them.
Yeah.
Out of
Jesus.
Variant were in grab bags.
Oh my god! So those are books that you're going after, right? Like,
yeah, that's fine. You don't find it in the wild, and when you do, it's expensive. That book's
you do, right? And that book, those books, though, you have to get them in high grade because they're moderns. You know what I mean? So
9.0 a book is a $500 book on that book now.
Yeah,
it's a $700 book now.
Yeah. Oh my god, that's nuts. It's crazy.
But you invest $30 that day. So I
got 4 spots. That was a deal, though. See, I'm a gambler, so
right?
you buy 3, you got 4, and you know what? When I saw that deal, I go, I'm jumping on this because you know what? As a gambler, I got no gambling right now. First and foremost, like I should be so deep into NCAA tournament right now. Forget about it.
You've won 2 books off of me already, Otto.
I did. What was the other one?
I forgot what the other one was, but you won another slab from me.
Was it a Thor book? Maybe.
I don't know. I know you've won 2 books from me.
Oh, God. Well, that's good because the only other person I do it with is with X, and
so do I. We all do it with X too.
Yeah, we all
do it too.
That's where I won the 181 from.
Yeah, I won some good books from X too. Now, do you guys like here? This is totally separate, and who knows if any of this is even relevant. But do you guys like the grails that have? Let's say it's $1,000 book. Would you rather try to get into $100 spots, or would you want to? Do you get into raffles where you buy like 5 spots for $10? You know, like the $10 ones. You know, so like the 100 spot or the 10 spot.
Well, with the 100 spot, usually it's the minis you have to do.
You got to get the minis, right? Yeah. So we were talking about the minis too. So if I could win a mini and get into a 10 spot raffle, I'd much rather do that than win 10 spots in a 100 spot raffle. I don't know does that make sense?
It does, but
I know what you're talking about.
The way I explain it to people when they get into the raffles, if you do a mini, you have a chance at more spots because it's usually either the 1 spot or you get 3 spots and buy into it. If you get into the main, you're guaranteed to be in that raffle.
Right. Okay. Gotcha.
You're
right. That's a good point.
Minis, right, Manny?
Yeah. I try to go like if it's too high, I don't like it over 100. When it goes to like
over 100 too much
spots, it's dumb.
Yeah.
So I do anything if it's 100 and it's a super key book, whatever.
Yeah.
I'll buy into it. I'll buy a few spots. The Hulk 181, it had 10 spots, but I think I won. I won a sub mini.
Yeah.
Got into the main. Got into the mini.
Right.
And then I won the mini. Got into the main. So that's how I won.
Shit. Yeah. Right.
So
that's
crazy. You had to
3 times.
You had to hit 3 times. How many times you had to hit that? 3 times, right?
3 times.
3 times, man. That's like rolling. That's unbelievable. You know what I mean? Like that is crazy to win that. That is luck. That's meant to be though. That's meant to be though.
Yeah.
James Nickel, my raffles are usually under Instagram and they're right under Erod 2112. 212.
Yeah.
So Erod runs good raffles too, man.
Yeah, man. They got good stuff. You're right. I've won twice, so that's it.
You know what? The books have gotten better. You start off small and you build up a fan base and the followers, and people know I'm reliable. And my thing is, I ship the book out usually the next day.
Next day, right? You got to,
and I pack airtight.
Airtight. That book came back like it was like a brick. I was like, look at this, is a big book right here.
Yeah, but we got to protect the book. And I put full insurance on it, so if it gets there, that person's going to get their book, and there's no issues.
Right. But man, you got any raffles right now going on?
Yeah, actually, I'm in a raffle for Silver Surfer number 4.
Okay.
It's a 9.0.
Ooh.
So I'm in the raffle for that.
That way nobody gets the raffles with him. He does it all the time.
I bought a spot into the main. I think it's like 50 spots.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken, in the main. And then I bought The guy has 2 mini raffles going on now, so I bought a spot at each of them.
Did you really? All right.
Yeah.
That
I mean,
book,
it's worth
you
it.
know,
It's an expensive book, man.
it's an expensive book,
9.0.
and a 9.0, right? And E, we were just talking. You were just talking about that book. You know, you that book. There's 3 or 4 movements. Somebody bought 3 or 4 of them. It's right there. Yeah.
I have a copy. I have a
So do
set.
I. I have a raw
Just didn't know.
dog. I've got a nice raw copy back here that I've got all 3 of them raw. Anywhere from 5 to maybe 7. And I just haven't sent them in yet, and I don't know why. It's just one of those things.
I will send those in, man. I have my copy. I think it's a 7.0.
Yeah,
but check this out. I bought it for $350.
Yeah,
I put it on layaway, but this is like 3 years ago.
Right.
Now, what is it, like a $500 book? So that book just keeps going up. It doesn't.
It's going up, and
no first appearance, just for basically on a cover.
Just the cover, and right. And E, didn't you say? Could you imagine if they reproduce that on the big screen at some point?
I'll tell me the truth. If you ever saw that, would you not lose your mind?
Oh, I agree. I would. Not only would I lose my mind, I think if you had 500 guys in there and they all saw that and they would be like, that came from a comic book, we would buy that book. Those guys would go after it. That's how, the impact of these movies are affecting, guys that aren't comic book collectors, but have some extra money and stuff like that. And I'm going off on a tangent, but that would skyrocket that book, because not only would collectors want it, but the non-collectors would want it too. You know what I mean? Because it's so iconic to have, Thor and Silver Surfer going at it, So yeah.
Expensive.
So the minis are cheap. Yeah, man. But you know what though? I think you guys and us, I think we give you guys enough, we give the public enough information on how to have the hobby invest in itself, what to look for, when you come for books. Gary makes a great point. He tells you that you want everybody's friend's uncle to know that you are a guy that buys comic books, right? Right? Like you want to, and that's, I'm known in many things in my circles, and not all of them are very good, but I don't mind being the guy that buys those comic books. You know what I mean? Or something.
Dude, at work, I'm a comic guy. Everybody comes to me now with an MCU question. Man, you got the same thing at your job, right? By the way,
I always get asked stuff at work.
That's Silver Surfer number 4 and 7.
They make fun of me, but I make money, off these books.
Right. Of course.
So I don't care.
What's it going for, E?
$700 for a 7.0.
Oh my God! So
you heard that many?
Yeah. Oh, it's 700 now. Look at that. See?
Now, bro.
Look at making money. He's just sitting there making money.
That's double the money. You can't get that in the market.
No, you can't right now. It's nuts.
Don't do that.
It's absolutely nuts. You're just sitting there making money. So, I forgot to mention, you guys had some. You had some T-shirts, right, from our boys from the Geeky Swag Shop.
Yep, we do.
Right. And I look at that; they're all sold out. People missed out on them, man.
Sold out. Yeah, look at that.
They should be coming out with another batch, I believe. And they came in multiple colors, so they were nice.
Nice, yeah, man. And I think Justin was wearing his the other night, so I got to get a hold of Geeky Swag Shop. You get those out, man. You're getting your butt kicked by Iron Man.
Yeah, I am.
So, all right. So you guys, we've been kicking it for an hour. I just wanted to hang out, chill with you guys, put some stuff out there for content. I hope everybody liked what we were talking about. So we're gonna kick it. Man, you got anything you want to end with, buddy?
Yeah. Stay tuned. Tuesday night auction, 10 p.m. Eastern. I'll be on it this week.
All right. Yeah. And E, I know you got a lot of stuff going on. You're everywhere in social media, Instagram, YouTube. Where can everybody find you?
I'll be on their auction Tuesday, hopefully for a couple of rounds, because I got to work. But Monday there'll be a whole video out. I'll probably be going live tomorrow sometime, probably like 7 o'clock. So
nice.
So, and the alerts, hit the alert button, and anybody who's not subscribed to it, hit us up.
Yeah, hit me up, man. Get my subscribers up, man.
At home of the New York Warriors.
Yeah, man. The channels are just absolutely doing fantastic. So I just want to give a shout out. You guys been there doing a long time, man. I got to admit, and it's been pretty fun, and it's funny when you talk about it, when you hear all these other dudes that were on it and how, back in the day, you didn't have our faces. You just showed the books, right? Like,
I told that story. I knew Jimmy C by his voice.
Yeah, right.
Jimmy C's face.
Yep.
Yeah. And you heard him talk, and I was like, "Wait a minute, are you Jimmy C?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I was like,
"Yeah."
Oh, that's great.
I watched his show. It's funny.
I met him at Big Apple Con.
Same thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's awesome.
I've been to his house a few times too. You know, barbecue.
Now we talk all the time, and we became what he was because he was the guy who was flipping books to buy bigger books.
Really? Okay.
Small collectors, you know, like everybody starts small and you build up. That's all it is.
Right. And it's, you know what? You know, something I say, though, before I sign off, I do want to say this. Never in my life did I think between Instagram, YouTube, really Instagram is what brought me back into this. Instagram and now YouTube and going like this. Never in my life did I honestly think that I had access to books almost all over the world, you know. But if there's a book in California, which there is a book right now, the Big To Do has it, him and I are talking about it, that it's a book that I'm after that I have access to, or a book in Florida or something like that. So shout out to just the whole community as far as having access, bringing everybody closer, right? And it's fun when you guys meet up at shows, right?
It's great.
Yep.
Great. We just sat there like we were old friends and just
like all guys sitting at the man. So it's just been a lot of fun. So I am going to sign off, you guys. Thank you very much for joining us on 3 Men in the Basement. Guys, please comment, share, tell us what you want to hear in the videos, because that's where we're driving all this information from. Justin and I got some videos coming up this week. Lords of the Long Box, NY Warriors, big auction on Tuesday, as always. So thank you very much for watching 3 Men in the Basement. I am Otto, and I am out. Peace.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh,
Bye-bye.
Hold on.
You're funny.